Pie Jesu Domine, dona eis requiem.
All right. Well, apart from your semi-gay sitting position,
This is not gay. So the gayness comes when you like do this thing where like the inside of your one knee is touching the outside of your other knee. It's like
oh,
yeah. No, yeah.
Oh.
No, this is not gay. This is like par for the course.
Yes.
Obviously, like manspreading is ideal. Which is where you, like,
That's how we're like, we're gonna interview with a man.
No.
This is great.
That would actually be kind of gay because then my knee would be touching your thigh.
Oh, okay.
And that would be a little
Stay
weird.
away. All right.
And now this is already gay because we're talking about it.
This is gonna stay in. Anyway,
Okay.
Welcome, Nathan, to meeting the Ryanites.
Okay.
Friends,
I feel like I'm meeting a Ryanite, to be honest.
you are meeting a wannabe Ryanite.
I mean, the group chat doesn't lie.
The group chat.
You can always leave the group chat.
This is true.
And you can also always leave Ryanism.
It's true.
Yeah. You gotta remember that stuff.
This is probably going to be the most distracted interview that we have.
I'll stop interrupting you.
No, it's fine. That's the point. Because I'm going to interrupt you next.
Okay.
All right. Well, this is Nathan Shearouse, a buddy of mine. Lived in closer location to me last year. And when I mean closer location, he was just next door in the Shire.
Yeah.
So Nathan, you are also a Ryanite.
Yes.
And this whole series is really kind of going about for both the Ryanites and the greater student body, explaining who are the Ryanites? Who the heck are they? Yeah, we call ourselves a cult. What kind of cult is this?
Yeah.
Where we at? And so the idea is just clarify that. What are your thoughts being on the inside? How did you escape? No.
I mean, I'm here in a basement with a Ryanite. I don't think I've escaped.
No, if
Pretty
anything,
sure I
this
haven't
is like a reinitiation.
Okay. Reinitiation by the sophomore generation.
I swear to eat waffles and only waffles.
Oh, I'm not repeating that after you.
No, you should not. Don't make false oaths.
Yeah.
Nathan, where are you from? Like, where did you grow up? Unless you grew up in numerous places. Like, where did you grow? Where did you find in your childhood that it was? I don't clarify this question because Liam said everywhere. But
Well, yeah, you don't need to clarify it for me because I lived in the same house. Like, I was born in a hospital because it was, so long ago that people used to do that. But I have lived in the same house my entire life from, reasonably short after birth until I moved to Moscow in 2021.
where was this house?
It was like blue.
No, what? No, what? Where was this? Like, what location? Like, where? What state did you grow up in?
Sorry.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Not the quality of the house.
Okay. I thought you were asking. I thought you said what color was the house.
Oh no, where?
Okay, where was the house? Okay, no, it was in Canada. I grew up in Nova Scotia.
Nice.
About 15 to 30 minutes outside of Halifax, depending on what time of day and what day. Yeah, that's where I grew up. I'm a pastor's kid.
Nice.
So that explains
Is that how you kind of
anything that you want to explain as part of my being a pastor's kid. You can feel free to do that.
Anyway.
I mean, sure.
Anyway. So why did you decide to come to NSA? Does that have to do with you being the pastor's kid? Because there are a few pastor kids here.
It is a little bit to do with that. I mean, being a pastor's kid is an interesting thing because there are stereotypes, and some of them are true. Some of them are often true. Some of them are often false. But when you are a pastor's kid, it's literally just life. So people are like, oh, pastor's kids have weird relationships with their friends because, I don't know, like people are walking on eggshells, or people are always trying to be your friend, or like there's different ways that people will interact with pastors, like their own pastor's kid. And for me, any of that might have happened, it was just like par for the course. I didn't know any different.
Because you were Canadian.
Because I was Canadian and I was a pastor's kid. And so I just don't really have a category for not being a pastor's kid. I can try to piece it together. But then, I mean, all the other variables are so different for other people too that it's hard to know what's maybe peculiar to being a pastor's kid and what's not.
But anyway, how did you come to NSA?
Right. So pretty much, I mean, my brother told me that I had a brain and so I should use it.
As brothers
so,
do.
Yeah. It was more of a, you are an academic kind of person. And I was like, no, actually. And he said, yeah, you are. I taught myself calculus, which apparently is not something that people do.
No.
I mean, I had a book. It's not like I discovered. So, I mean, I was basically on my own for math from about the time I was 15. And I taught myself what there was in the book.
Wow.
And some of it, I mean, I got help from my brother. I got help from different online sources and stuff. And there were a few spots that were pretty rough, but I mean, my brother helped pull me through a lot. And then also he told me, like, you probably should go to college because some people shouldn't go to college. Some people don't need to go to college. Some people need to just get a job, start their own business, like making houses or something. I'm not that guy. So he told me I should go to college. Anyway, and then looking around at some of the options, NSA was kind of, it's like, well, where else? So get my NSA education, see what happens.
Yeah.
I have ideas, but not ones that I'm willing to disclose to the public at this time.
He means garbage man.
Yes. I will say I'm pretty dead set on going back. And I was initially, I sort of held it loosely. I still hold it loosely because anything can happen. God will do what he wants.
Absolutely.
But that is where I'm going.
Nice. So that's great motivation for coming here. I mean, coming here, like, because not coming here for like a specific job, but just because you want to grow more just as a person and intellectual. Yeah. And a lot of people are intellectuals, especially our little Ryanites group, not really little, fairly sized.
There's like 40 of us, I think.
Yeah. And growing.
Yeah.
I mean, most of them are juniors. There's a handful of sophomores, myself included. And do we have any freshmen?
I think we have a couple. I know there's some freshmen that we need to get on the group chat, or we need to move the group chat to Signal because
they're the new people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, NSA used to all be on Messenger chats, and then our class was the first one to dip and not use Messenger.
We use Signal, and then now
you guys use Signal. Yeah. Now Signal is a thing. So my class, I won't say invented Ryanism, and we might get to that later. We coined the term Ryanism, and we also are the only class to use WhatsApp. So,
oh well, getting onto that. Let's get into that point about Ryanism right now. I mean, at this point, I've interviewed a couple people, talked to some people around the area, just trying to get the whole idea. Came up with the idea was to me. I was like, well, I'm a Ryanite. What the heck does that mean? And other people around me were like, yeah, what the heck are Ryanites? And I didn't know, like, Paul Merle's a Ryanite. What does that mean? How is Paul Merle a Ryanite? That doesn't make any sense at all. You would never expect that. Like, we can expect, like, Liam. Like, those are nerds. But, like, anyway, no, I just like Paul. But for you...
even Jonathan is...
Yeah, and Jonathan
is like a quasi-Ryanite. He was he was like a third party in the initial conversation. I don't know if you've talked to people about that last
we've gone over it.
thing. He was like a third party, and then eventually, because we were more, well, he can speak for himself, but for various reasons, some of them very probably thought through, some of them maybe just capricious at some level. He ended up being a Ryanite, and it's been great because he shows up for a lot of stuff, and he's a good singer, and he also like has a lot of motivation and does stuff, which is one of the primary things of Ryanism is that you do stuff.
So I'm curious, like going on that point, and primary tenets you're saying, which then begs there is a definition what it means to be a Ryanite. How would you define the Ryanites?
I think this might be a Herodotean definition, and it might be a very anti-Herodotean definition. And at this point, I'll stop talking about Herodotus. But
at least it's not Plutarch.
A Ryanite is basically, because we have to draw a line somewhere, because Ryanism can't claim everything that we might want to claim is like, oh, well, that's inspired by Ryanism. It's like, well, I mean, people do weird stuff anyway. So we can't claim to be the source of everything cool or awesome or retarded that goes on within the student body. And we don't even want to. That's not the point. But I think a good definition would be, are you in the group chat?
Yeah.
And then also, since the original Discord server died, that was our class Discord server.
Discord.
If you're on the Discord server, the new one that got made this year, because again, the original died. If you're on that Discord server, then I think those are all Ryanites. Anybody who's not a Ryanite is like on the fringes. But yeah, the group chat, I think, is a good defining feature.
That's good. So you say, and how would you get added to the group chat per se?
Somebody adds you.
Somebody adds
So, I mean...
You did add me to the whole thing. So you were the person that brought me into it.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. It just happened one day. I don't really know why.
You were probably at an event. I don't know what event.
I never went to any of the Ryanites events. I didn't go to... The only event I was part of was the writers group.
Okay, writers group is... I was never in the writers group. Writers group is another because that's kind of where Ryanism was birthed from. I don't know that part of the history very well because I wasn't really involved with the class until Ryanism.
That's more of a Van question to be asking.
Yes, or Liam even. Maybe Evan. But I made Boaz made the Ryanites chat.
Yeah.
But I was one of the first admins. That was when I was kind of realizing, okay, I figured out the school thing freshman year, and I need to be more involved with what my class is doing. So I got added to the class group chat. It was shortly after that the whole thing went down and Ryanism actually was birthed out of the Alaska-Hawaii controversy.
So you said you were one of the first admins. Yeah. Like, how did you... I mean, because we obviously know it started with the conflict between Alaska and Hawaii.
Sure.
And then kind of grew from there. I mean, unless you would say there's a different story.
I would say there's a different... But that's what people might point to. What
would you say then this is starting? To you? Okay, so from behind the scenes, because you're one of these
this is extremely behind the scenes because, and I'm not going to make a caveat because if I do, then it will just make things worse. I have siblings here who've been to NSA. I had a sister at NSA for a couple of years around like 2010. My brother was at NSA around like 2016, 2017 in there. So I sort of I came in like blank slate because obviously every year is different. It had been a few years since they were there. But I kind of knew some of the tropes. Like there's these sorts of people at NSA and there's those sorts of people at NSA. And, you know, the Logos grads come in and they're like this. And the homeschoolers are like this. And then there's the foreigners who want to make sure everybody knows they're from a foreign country. And I had an idea of what some of the groups would be. And so coming in, I lived in Moscow for a couple of years before attending NSA, and I was able to talk with a lot of students. I had a lot of friends in the freshman class that year. I'm still friends with most of those people. Some of them have moved away, but I keep up with some of them. I would consider those to be like, generally speaking, no disrespect to my class, but I would consider those to be some of my best friends that I have in Moscow. Because we got here at the same time, we kind of like bonded together. But it was different because I wasn't a student. So I wasn't reading the stuff they were reading. And so I sort of had a fresh take that didn't make it a better take, but it made it so that for me, it was interesting to talk to them because they were students and I wasn't. For them, it was interesting to talk to me because I was about their age and I was not a student and I was doing other stuff and I was from a different place. And so I had some really good conversations. It was really good for me. And I mean, I think it was, they're still my friends. So I think they appreciated having me around. Then when I started NSA, I sort of had a bit of a pulse on how things were. I didn't want to be like the guy who's too cool for school because I hadn't been doing school for a couple of years. Wanted to be a good student. I also didn't want to be the guy that, is older than everybody in his class almost. And kind of flexes that. I didn't want to be the guy who was, you know, a social butterfly either. I was like, I've got to work, I've got to do school. I don't need a social life among my class, but I will take whatever there is, because there are people here that need something. I mean, they come from away, they're new. I want to serve them. I want to minister to them as much as I can. I tried to do that a bit with what were sophomores by the time I started. And I was able to, but I got really busy that year. I was working 80-hour weeks and stuff. So that kind of like fell to the side. And I was like, I'm going to do this again with my class as much as I can while maintaining my other friendships and responsibilities. And so I did, but I was pretty absent until like third term. Always went to soup night, but other than that, I wasn't going to the parties or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, and I was avoiding the trauma. But I did help some people with music homework and stuff. Anyway, this is all like background on me as an NSA student. And then, so what is Ryanism? Okay. I just actually remembered and was reminded, Nels Nelson was a guy who came in with at the same time as me. So he was a freshman in 2021.
Okay.
He's like a farmer, and he was an NSA, and he was friends with some of my friends like Graham Burns and Brian Sarche and some of those guys. I think probably Lucas Smith, who's hardly known at this point in Moscow. Cool guys. But Nels was like a farmer guy. I met him at CRF when it was down here in the basement, actually.
Oh.
That's also where I met Jack Whitaker.
Yes, Jack Whitaker.
Probably the same day. Anyway, Nels, it turns out, I think he got his associates, or maybe he just dropped after 2 years. But his sophomore year, he was roommates with Cardin Sellers. And they kind of started a thing among their freshman class where like they had a lot of Logos students. And so they all knew each other. They had a strong community. And whenever that happens, through no fault of those students, they're just going to stick together. And they're going to stick together through college. They're buddies. And it's going to be difficult for anybody who just showed up in town to really be like part of that group.
I mean, that's how it feels a little bit with our class. We
Right.
have quite a few Logos people.
Yeah. Your class is similar.
Yeah.
My class has it a little bit. Not to the same
much.
degree, but
Not
we'll
as much.
get to that in a minute, though.
Yeah.
So from all I can tell from like talking to Cardin and talking to other people who knew Nels, Cardin and Nels kind of like had a thing where they would hang out like on Saturdays, I think, Saturday evenings. Anybody who doesn't have something to do Saturday evening, it's like show up. They would like watch a movie or I don't know, play cards or whatever they would do. And
Shire Fires began?
Yes, this was the inspiration for Shire Fires.
Wow.
Because then Cardin, the next year, or sometime along there, I think going into his third year at NSA, or his second year.
Okay, no.
His second year.
Your guys' year.
He got the Shire, and he got that running with, I mean, it's his story to tell how all that played out. But he got the Shire going, let's just leave it there. And he has a heart for hospitality. And so Jack Miller was huge in making Shire Fired suppers work in my actual freshman year, 2023. And it was a great place for people who didn't have anywhere to be to show up and be there. Build a community. What ends up happening though is you have like the in people, if you want to call it, like Logos students, Logos grads, I should say, and to some extent, some homeschoolers can kind of fit in there if they're local or if they're kind of semi-local, like from the Pacific Northwest. They kind of know the people that are here.
They've been to Called.
Yeah, they've been to Called. People who have been to Called can often fit into that society, if you want to say that social group. And I'm not going to call it a clique because, I mean, I can speak for my class. I can't speak for other classes. In my class, at any rate, those people are awesome. And like, I get along with them and we just like don't go to the same events for the most part. It's just how it is because our class is so big. But, you know, like Dexter is our hall leader. He's from a ACCS school and he's awesome. I love Dexter. I just don't see him a whole lot because he's doing his stuff and I'm doing my stuff. And we're both busy.
He's really busy.
Yeah. And so you end up with these two groups though. And the way that I see Ryanism, basically, you have this surface level stuff, Alaska and Hawaii, but then underneath there's this like social difference. You could almost say it's like upper class, lower class, almost garbage men, governors. You could go there with it. I don't think that's quite accurate because there's outliers, but I think you could go there to some extent. You have the people who generally are interested in pursuing a political or legal career and the people who generally maybe don't know what they're doing.
So would you say the Ryanites are in the camp of like, we don't really know what we're doing?
Yes, except then we decided we're going to do something.
Okay. That's a consistent theme I'm hearing. Like we don't really know what we're doing, but we want to do something.
Well, yeah. And then also, and we decided that we would do something. And so coming into NSA, one of the things that I really wanted to do, because I had met a lot of grads and as a musical person, a thing that I noticed is like, wow, NSA is Moscow is surprisingly musically illiterate relative to what I might have expected. And talking to some grads, they're like, yeah, I learned solfege freshman year and I never really kept it up. Or even like people can fight about solfege.
This is why Herb is so bitter.
Music. I know he's not bitter. But these are the things that he talks about. These are the things that he will encourage us not to be like. I learned how to read music freshman year and I just kind of never kept up with it. And I thought, okay, this was like 2021, like spring 2022. I wasn't going to NSA for another year and a half or something. And I was like, there's one thing that I can do here before I go home, like at NSA, hopefully shape culture. It will be to make the number, like the ratio of people that graduate NSA not knowing how to read music less. That was like my goal as an NSA student is going to be to lower the proportion of students who graduate having forgotten how to read music. So Ryanism became like, now we're going to get into the like self-focused part for me. Ryanism kind of became a tool for me to do that.
Because it was a community.
Because it's a community that I was able to get in somehow halfway through freshman year on the ground floor and be an influential person without forcing my will. It takes a bit of forcing, but I had enough cred somehow that people were like, yeah, Nathan is our music guy. And I was like, awesome. Okay, I'll take it. I suck at music, but I'll take it. And I will keep pushing myself musically and get better. At that point, I was section leader in Cantorai for the basses, along with a couple other guys. It's like, all right, this is my opportunity to, I'll do what I can. We'll see what happens. And there have been a couple things that I've tried to start up over the last few years and they've flopped. There have been a few things that have stuck. There have been some really, really good moments here and there, musically.
Have you been working on writing music at all?
Not much.
Okay.
I'm mostly looking to discover music. My goal, we've got a lot of really ambitious music people in our community, and I respect that. And we have some really good choirs that can do some really ambitious stuff. And so I'm happy for those to be going on. But my goal is music for, if you want to say, the garbage man. Music
for the common.
Yeah, for the common man, where I am pushing people. So like there are a bunch of people, a lot of Ryanites were in vocal tech freshman year. And I was like, I don't care. I mean, I'm not a voice teacher. I was in Cantorai. I had never been in a choir before. And I did not know the first thing about vocal technique. Right now I have a cold, so that's why my voice is funky. But I don't know anything about vocal technique except a little bit of office hours with Dr. Herb, some oral skills stuff that he would bring up, and then in choir, him just being like, try doing this kind of thing. And I tried doing that kind of thing, and eventually I squeaked into concert choir last year, sophomore year. But literally squeaked, I guess. It's a bad joke, but it is funny. Anyway, but I'm going to do what I can, because I can read music. Maybe I can help you read music. I can at least help you not despair.
There you go.
Because the last thing you can do is despair. You've got to especially if any freshmen at any point are watching this, my biggest thing that I would always tell freshmen, if they would give me the chance to talk to them about music, which vocal tech people are really they're ashamed of themselves.
Yeah.
Because, I mean,
even chorale people, even some chorale people too.
Yeah, and that's a new thing that I haven't interacted with much. But vocal tech people, the kind of people even who aren't in vocal tech, but they fail a term of oral skills or even music theory, they're super down on themselves about that. And even if they're not down on themselves, then they don't care.
Yeah.
And it's those are the two
They kind of close the door.
Yeah, they close the door on music. They're like, okay, this isn't a thing for me. Dr. Herb is kind of crazy. My goal is to make that not a thing.
Yeah.
It's
well, that perspective doesn't change. Dr. Herb is always crazy.
Well, yeah, of course. But I'm going to say, my thing is, no, you can. You will. And you can. Just put in the time every single day. And this is the thing for freshmen. Any freshman who ever end up watching this, the one thing, if you're struggling in oral skills, if you fail Jerusalem term, if you feel like you're going to fail Nicaea term, or maybe it's later in the year and you failed 3 terms and now you're like, why am I even taking a 4th term? Just put in the time, half an hour every single day, work on your stuff. Whenever you hear a tune, figure out what the solfege is. It could be 4 notes. You hear a sequence of 4 notes on a jingle that's playing on the speakers at the grocery store. Hum it back to yourself. Hum it to yourself. Hum it to yourself. Imagine what solfege it could be. There'll probably be a couple options, because if it's just 3 or 4 notes. But imagine what solfege it could be. And just that kind of thing, but put in your half hour every day, do your work, and you will pass the term. You will pass. And that's what matters. Yeah. Pass the term, get through school.
Well, I think everything you're talking about right here is again the whole Ryanite idea. I mean, what I've heard from the last two people and from hearing from you, right? The Ryanites are the people who have drive. They want something, right? As you're saying, they want something. And for each person looks a little bit different. Some of them may not be as clear for you. For you, it's very clear. Music is where you need to be right now in this moment. And for other people, it may be theater. For other people, it may be writing. Starting up the Catalyst again, for example.
Right, that's the Ryanite project.
That is a Ryanite project, which we'll have to look at some point. Or whatever it may be, doing the rite of Swan Lake, right? You guys have this drive to do something, and someone said it's a little bit like rebellion in a way. But a good rebellion. Absolutely. But not rebel against authority, rebel against the common norm.
And push the buttons.
Yeah.
We definitely have a kind of button pushing, because again, and this gets to the other thing. So you made a distinction between people who have drive, people who don't. And I think that's that is part of it. There are very few, if we're defining by people in the group chat, there are totally people in the group chat who don't have drive. Probably 20 people in the group chat are actually active in the group chat.
Yeah.
And being active in the group chat isn't a definition of whether or not you have drive. But just that is something to be aware of. And there's tons of people outside of Ryanism that have drive.
Absolutely.
One of the more, to hone that definition a little bit, people who don't belong anywhere, people who don't have any reason that anybody should listen to them, who decided, I'm going to do something and see if it sticks. People who decided that Ryan was cool. Ryan will tell you. He can tell you better than I can. But for whatever reason, I remember actually, I think it was it might have been before Thanksgiving break, coming out of theology lecture, and I walked down to the corner from North Campus with Ryan, and I was like, Ryan, I have not talked to him that much. He's actually cool. I should, cool in a sleeper agent kind of way. I'm like, I need to.
This is so true.
I was like, I need to hang out. And he was very like, he's super humble. He still is very like, not hesitant, but like just chill. I was like, he was a Baptist too, and I was like, I need to diversify my friendships. I was already friends with Baptists, but it was like, Ryan's cool. I should hang out with Ryan. I need to make a point to hang out with Ryan because I don't know if he like has. I mean, I knew he had roommates, and I didn't know that much about him. I'm like, I know he's not with the in crowd who like by default have friends. I don't know if Ryan has people to like just hang out with, even one-on-one and talk to. I don't even know if I've hardly hung out with Ryan one-on-one. But I just thought, okay, coming back from this week off, I think it was Thanksgiving, I need to make sure that I talk to Ryan. Like just, you know, because he's kind of, in some ways, a loner. At least that was my perspective.
But he's not a depressed loner.
Right, he's not a depressed loner. So it's like, I mean, this sounds horrible. It's almost like there's hope for him. He's not like one of those guys. He's not a guy that buries his head in the sand and just like disappears. But he might also be kind of by himself. And so I will be friends with Ryan, not because he needs it, but because I need to be finding the people who aren't in by default.
And then you just gave Ryan a platform and he's...
Well, it wasn't me.
Yeah,
I mean, it was all of us.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But I mean, you were a big player in that, as you said, because you created the group chat. You were...
Well, no. Boaz created
you
the
Boaz
chat.
did, okay.
Yeah.
So but you were still a big player in that.
I mean,
overall.
yeah, kind of.
Kind of.
I mean, I've done the
You guys
music
are also
stuff.
humble.
I've done the music stuff. No, I mean,
again, like Rigney talks about music being such a core
Right.
part in the community, right?
Yeah.
What is it? Is it not the flesh or the bones? Which one? He uses a different
It's
part
been
of the
2
body.
years since then.
Yeah. It's like the meat or
yeah,
something.
it is like the flesh, I think.
Yeah.
He puts that in the flesh category, I think. Yeah.
It's a very important part.
Yeah, and it's not Ryanite music. And this is the thing. This is one of the things that we made really clear from the start because, I mean, we had a group chat. Like, why would we have a group chat? So we made it super clear. Coming back from that, I guess it was Christmas break, anybody can be a Ryanite.
Yeah.
The only bar to entry is that you don't want to be in. And
Anyone
so
can
a
be a
lot of
Ryanite.
Ryanite events, we would like plan it in the group chat, publish it to the whole class, publish it as far and wide as we could. We had professors show up to some stuff. They still do every once in a while. We're not super good about inviting them anymore. No. We need to get better about that. But Dr. Coppinger, I think the Fosters may have showed up to something. But faculty involvement, we like that. We also like, but we like to invite everybody.
Yeah.
It's like, sometimes logistically you can't. And that becomes more and more the case as we have sophomores and freshmen and more classes coming in that are participating. But we have some seniors that are in, like Catherine and Graham, and we have some non-NSA students like my little brother.
Isn't in alumni too, right?
Yeah,
like
I think
Nance.
so. Yeah, Nance. Yeah, somehow Nance got it.
Nance.
Well, I think it's because he had a Populi presence way back.
Yeah.
And so Ryan found him, and then we added him to the group chat kind of
Red
as
Bull
a joke.
man.
Yeah. And so he's been around. Anyway, it's an open group. Anybody can come. As long as they're okay with, for a while, and this is still kind of the case, the girls will get on some shtick about modernism and like the Industrial Revolution ruined everything.
Feminism!
Well, yeah, and feminism is evil. And I mean, yeah, feminism is evil. Yes, it has more of an effect in NSA culture than we like to admit.
You just got to be prepared that we're a little spicy.
You just got to be prepared that we're a little spicy, and we will talk about the annoying stuff that you don't want to talk about. And your hobbies are probably not interesting to us.
No.
Because we do have hobbies, I think, but they're just different.
So everyone is welcome, but not everyone may be a fit for it.
Right, because with any social group, you're going to have people that are doing one thing and people that are doing another thing. We're singing in the cemetery tonight.
I mean, it's a good way to combat the Halloween stuff that's going on.
Right, but if you're the sort of person who's like, oh, Halloween stuff that's going on, that doesn't exist, then you might find it a bit silly.
We're not singing spooky, scary skeletons.
Right, we're singing psalms.
Yeah.
And praying and stuff. And it's also like, it's All Saints. We should be hanging out in the cemetery because this is where a lot of saints are in the flesh, whatever's left of the flesh. I think that's a worthwhile thing. Like, there's a reason we have cemeteries, not moratoriums. If that makes any sense.
Well, to come back to the idea,
yeah.
like, so you define Ryanites can be anyone, and
Right.
and they can join. It's just not going to be everyone's cup of tea. Per se.
Right. Because we are going to have conversations. I'm just like, I can tolerate all these ridiculous conversations, and I can participate in some of them.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm a Ryanite.
Well, in that, clearly.
Yeah.
But to that point, like, Ryanism, the Ryanitism, however we want to call it, has changed a lot over time, especially from, I think, at least for me, just even coming into it, like, people are busier, less action is going on. There's still a drive to do things, just people don't have as much time. The name is changing slightly, temporarily. Some people say it's temporarily. Some people say it might be permanent.
Oh, do we want to talk about the name?
We can talk about it in a second.
Okay.
Well, actually, we'll talk about that. Christian Maximalists is the new group chat name. Is that a permanent thing?
Okay, so I'm trying to remember. So the first name, I think, was Ryanites.
I heard it was called Populi Revival at one point too. No?
Yeah, and we'll get to that.
Okay. Oh,
so
boy.
the first name was Ryanites, and that was fine. But pretty early on, I started thinking, it's good that it's named after Ryan, because he's like so unassuming. Like, if it was named after me, that would be awful.
No.
Because it's like, if I'm organizing something big and I'm doing stuff, like, I'm the sort of person that I think could come
Ryan
off
is
as
the
Being
Hobbit.
super
He's
proud.
just the Hobbit.
Yeah.
He can bear the weight of the evil of the ring, and the ring is the name.
Yes, exactly.
Ryan is the Hobbit.
I am very much a man, and I will grasp at power, or at least appear to grasp at power, because it's part of the way I am. Ryan is very much a Hobbit, although he doesn't live at the Shire. That's a whole other thing that we could spend like an hour talking about what makes a Hobbit.
Van.
But so it's not named after Boaz, it's not named after me, it's not named after
The Boazites.
anybody else. It is named after Ryan because he started it with being from Alaska and that whole conversation that went down in the group chat. So Ryanism. But then I was thinking, okay, this will look culty.
Yeah.
Like, if we're named for a person, maybe we lean into it, and we kind of did at first.
Yep.
And I thought, why don't we rename? Why don't we rebrand? Let's call ourselves Populi Revivalists. I think it was just in a group chat, to Ryan and Boaz about it. I was like, I think we should rebrand. I think we should rename the group chat. And we did. I didn't want to I didn't think I could offend Ryan, but I was like, I don't want to offend Ryan here.
I don't think.
But I also, and I didn't. I know I didn't because of what he said. He was like, no, that's totally a good idea. We should change the name.
Yeah.
So we were Populi Revivalists. That went on for a while. So actually the tea time, Ryanite tea time, that was one of the things we did. And every tea time since then has been better, except like maybe one of the Ashdown tea times and one of the All Hall tea times since then have been like at the level of our freshman year.
Yep.
But every tea time since then, you weren't there for that.
Oh.
Tea time used to, like, almost every week, it would just suck.
I remember Ashdown tea times. So.
No. You don't remember every tea time.
Oh boy.
My freshman year.
Oh.
Yeah. So think the worst Ashdown tea time that we've had, like, since you've been here.
I just think of Malta tea times now.
Sure. It was worse than that. So Malta tea times this year, it was worse than that.
Oh goodness.
Like most weeks.
Oh.
So anyway, that's to say we did a thing, but that was listed as Populi Revivalism, and then there was like Ryanite was somewhere on the whiteboard as well if you look at those old pictures from so long ago, like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And then the name Ryanite kind of came back sometime towards the end of freshman year. In the summer. We were like, Populi Revivalism, I'm a Populi Revivalist. It's like...
It's clunky.
It is clunky. And so we just went back to Ryanite. It's simpler, it's easier.
Yeah, same ethos, right?
Yeah. And then more recently, Christian Maximalism, because we did the textile talks. And Boaz's YouTube channel is called Christian Maximalism. That's where they got published. It's kind of a theme, one of those things along with like post-industrialism is the worst thing that happened to mankind. It's kind of a tongue-in-cheek, like making fun of ourselves. We are the Christian maximalists.
We're Christian maxing.
Sure, I mean you can think of it that way too.
Which is just being Christian.
But it's more like maximalism, but under the lordship of Jesus Christ. And I don't want to.
So in other words, we're just Christians. We're just Christians.
Well, maximalism is a different thing than just being a Christian. But yeah, we're Christians who particularly enjoy like art and culture stuff. And then you'll find people that aren't Ryanites who are way better artists, who put way more time into like NSA drama productions. So I'm not making an exclusive statement. We are the amateurs of the amateurs. Yeah. So in other words, we're the worst at it.
How does this sound so Dorney of you to say?
Sure. I mean, I've been in his class for 2 years.
You would know him better than all of us.
And I go to church with him every Sunday.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but
I mean, I don't see why it would be a bad thing. Like anyway, so the name has changed a few times. I don't see Christian maximalism necessarily as permanent, but
do you think because as the names change, but also like not only the names have changed, but like the atmosphere. I mean, as you described it too, like even just last year compared to this year, right? Yeah. Like you guys had a lot more energy and to do things, at least openly. Yes. This year, a little bit more reserved.
This year we're coming off more reserved. Taking each other out
on dates, or
yeah.
Some of us.
So that is part of it.
I would. That was my assumption.
That is definitely part of it. Although that also has made some things culturally more.
It's actually
strong.
Benefited some things.
It has benefited some things. It has also made it like people are busier. There's also less to do. Like we don't have to.
There's enough energy.
We don't have to make tea time great again.
Yeah.
Like, okay, a bunch of guys brought a log into the commons and put a bunch of furniture in Dr. Longshaw's office.
That was amazing.
Officially, I have no idea who they were. What I will tell you, though, is that it was not organized by any Ryanite. And that, to me, is awesome. Mm-hmm. And there's a part of me that would want to be like, oh, well, because Ryanites were like setting the precedent, we moved the Overton window of cringe behavior in the commons. No, we didn't. But like I would want to claim that as a Ryanite kind of thing, but and because I said that out loud, I kind of am, I guess. But I won't claim it because we didn't do it. No. Like that wasn't us. But it's the kind of thing that we want to see happening. It's like we want to see people, at least as far as I'm concerned, I want to see people doing things that are like a little bit like, ooh, is that okay? Is that allowed? I want people to be asking the question, is that allowed?
Like ordering Snickers bars or...
Yeah, ordering Snickers bars through Populi. Hacking accounts because of a, like... And if anybody from Populi sees this, I don't know the extent of this. And I know that you guys are in communication with Ryan on a...
They're on good terms. I have been told it's on good terms.
And Ryan is basically like the guy who finds bugs, who doesn't actually work for Populi, who also finds bugs and finds out where you guys can patch up some stuff, and you guys patch it up, and it's awesome. And you guys give him Snickers bars, and I actually got to eat one of those Snickers bars, which is awesome. So, I mean, I know some of the people at Populi, I enjoy them. They laugh at us, and every once in a while we'll talk about like what Ryan's up to, and it's a good time.
Yeah. But in other words, like, right.
We want to see stuff happen.
Yeah. Yeah. So it seems to me then like Ryanism is not something that you guys started. It's something that's been at NSA that you guys continued. You put a name on for the period of time that you're here, and you hope to see, and you hope to see it continue on in other forms that just may not be called Ryanites. So in other words, for you then, would you agree with this? That Ryanism is a mindset that is carried along in some of the quirkier, ambitious students that want to push the boundaries and want to be leaders. Perhaps.
And the most Ryanites are not Ryanites. So Evan, I think, is on the group chat right now. He was off and on. But he's kind of a Ryanite.
He's
but he's
quite
also
Ryanite
not.
At the same time.
He's the most Ryanite because he's not really. Carden is even less like officially a Ryanite. Carden,
but he's a total Ryanite because he's doing his whole thing with the Shire.
He's proto-Ryanite. Like he precedes them to the point that the name Ryanite can't be attached to him, except that we could retrospectively like try to be like, oh, there's a sort of correlation here, and he kind of hangs out with the same people.
Yeah.
Like Alex is Alex is funny too because he is a Ryanite, and he will go back and forth between like thoroughly dissing us, and he can do that like in a different way than I can because he's not quite a Ryanite.
Yeah. So then to be a Ryanite is not to be a Ryanite in a sense.
Kind of, yes, yeah. But you also can't take that too far.
No.
But it is also because there is the group chat, and so that's why I said like if we're going to define it, let's say it's the group chat. But then you can also say, well, there's a mentality that you've got a lot of super motivated people.
There's the name and there's the mentality.
Say Dexter. Yeah. Dexter was actually in the Ryanites chat at one point, which is interesting. And I do, sometimes I'll say once a Ryanite, always a Ryanite. Like there's a reason you were in the chat. Like maybe you got tired of stuff that was going on. Maybe you found other things to do. But like if you were in the chat ever, then there's a sort of like,
so it's the idea of a community.
You could say discomfort with status quo, but then there's other people who are uncomfortable with status quo.
But you did something. Yeah, you got it. Actually.